Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Lampi. I'm a third-year PhD student at the University of Virginia. My research focuses on how parents of autistic children teach their children about their emotions and how parents perceive their children's emotions. And today I'd like to tell you about a study we recently conducted. So there's classic work showing that particular kinds of experience can influence when children and adults first detect an emotion on a face as it goes from a neutral to peak emotional expression. For example, children who have been abused detect anger in a face as it changes from neutral to angry earlier than children who have not been abused. And so we investigated whether parenting a non-speaking autistic child would represent another kind of experience that would lead to relatively early emotion detection from facial displays. And our reasoning was that autistic people's facial expressions can be subtler than non-autistic people's facial expressions. Autistic people are sometimes said to show flatter affect than non-autistic people. And non-speaking autistic people may not be able to easily correct misinterpretations of their emotional expressions through spoken language. So mothers of non-speaking autistic children might learn to interpret and act upon emotional expressions with less information available in the face than mothers of non-autistic children. To test this, we recruited 4 groups of participants: mothers of non-speaking autistic children, mothers of non-autistic children, age-matched non-mothers, and college women. And we presented them with 2 online tasks. In the categorization psychophysical task, we showed still photos of one actor's face as it morphed in 5% increments from neutral to sad. Photos were shown one at a time, several times, and in a random order, and from neutral to happy, also one at a time, for several times, and in a random order. And participants simply indicated whether each face was not sad, or not happy, or happy. And these figures here show the results. So let's start with the figure on the left, which represents the sad findings. On the x-axis is a particular photo's location on the continuum from neutral to peak sadness. And you can see here that the 4 functions representing the 4 groups of participants overlap. Mothers of autistic children did not detect sadness earlier than any of the other groups. This figure here on the right represents the happy findings and actually looks very different from the sad. So as you can see, the moms of autistic kids, moms of non-autistic kids, and the age-matched non-moms detected happiness significantly earlier than the college women. But the 3 groups of age-matched women did not differ from each other. The second task was an explicit task. Participants were shown several arrays of different actors' faces as they morphed in 5% increments from neutral to sad or neutral to happy. And the task was simply to click on the face where they first detected sadness or happiness. And here results were generally in line with the categorization task. Most important for our purposes, mothers of autistic children, seen here in blue, did not detect sadness earlier than any other group, but they did detect happiness earlier than the college women. So in summary, mothers of autistic children did not detect happiness or sadness in facial expressions earlier than age-matched women. One unexpected finding was that all 3 groups of middle-aged women detected happiness earlier than the college women. But this finding is consistent with other research on emotion recognition and detection in aging, and with Carstenson's social selectivity theory framework, which predicts and often finds that older people pay more attention than younger ones to positive emotions. But even though we didn't find that mothers of autistic children detected emotion earlier in facial displays than mothers of non-autistic children, I still believe that there's a strengths-based interpretation of these results. And that's namely that mothers of children who have higher support needs than non-autistic children and whose children may display emotion more subtly were no less sensitive to displays of happiness and no more sensitive to displays of sadness when compared to women without such child rearing experiences. So with that, thank you for taking the time to learn more about my study. Please feel free to contact me with any questions. You can see my contact info in the transcript of this walkthrough linked in the video description of this poster below. Thank you so much.